Catch up with Southport's Brandon Winters as we head into the 10th week of the IHSA football season, and not just any week. 9 weeks have elapsed, Coach, and a lot to look back on and be very proud of.
Yeah, I think with still some things coming up here, you don't want to look back too far yet. We want to look ahead, but it's kind of been one of those years where we've had some disappointing results, especially in our last game with everything that came with that game. And I think it's probably tough to evaluate the season as a whole. Kind of, everybody's kind of kicking themselves now because of the way that the game turned out. But I think that we've done enough really good things under some difficult some circumstances and adversity that when it's all said and done, I think there's a lot to be proud of with this group this year.
And I think if you go all the way back to the beginning of the season, Coach, with a couple of really nice signature wins, especially at Columbus North in that overtime victory, coming home with that celebration, and then the following week to get that big win against Gibson Southern, that was huge as well.
Yeah, both of those were. One, just because Columbus North has just always been a tough place for us to play. And we kind of won in a way that we never have against them before, playing defense and running it. And, what I thought was really great about the Gibson Southern game was that game when Ryan went out with the hamstring was far from over. And, Zach came in, Shepard, and he didn't just manage the rest of it. I mean, he made plays. And they kind of got some things going late, but we had some guys, not just Zach, kind of step up and finish the game. And in a situation that in a lot of times it can kind of spiral. And so we came in with almost a quarter to play there, and everything kind of went bad all of a sudden, and we were able to come back from that. So those two back-to-back were really big for us.
And these are the kind of situations where opportunities are presented to these young men. We've heard the term next man up, but you got to be prepared for it because when they step into it, it's a real deal.
We actually early in the year were playing a lot of guys, especially on defense. We were playing 3 or 4 defensive backs, rotating some linebackers, D-line. I think we've played 8 or 9 guys, pretty meaningful reps, and I wish we could still do that. But as the injuries and things start to pile up, we're not playing as many guys because some of them aren't available. But it's definitely led to I think a little less drop off when we've had to go to some of those guys, not by choice, but just because of the necessity.
As we turn the page now on the regular season and interplay into the sectional here tonight, you got to be able to convince your guys that this is all brand new, especially for some of your players, but it's totally different from regular season.
We addressed that. I addressed that with them when we met on Monday, that if you haven't played in a playoff game, okay, it is different. You hear that all the time, playoff intensity, and you kind of go, well, and people probably kind of have a tendency to go, what do you mean? Especially the pros. These guys are getting paid millions of dollars. It should be intense. But when people understand that there's things on the line, whether it be a sectional championship, a state championship, or in a lot of teams' case, just the opportunity to play another football game for some of those seniors that aren't going on to play college football, there really is kind of a jump up in the level and the sense of urgency, and we're going to have to make sure that we bring that because we know that our opponents are going to as well.
But at the same time, you still try to keep things as normal as possible.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter how hard you practice, you can't simulate the game, speed, intensity, and all that. And it's kind of the same thing where it doesn't matter how serious they take the game or practice, it is going to be different on Friday night, as hard as that is to believe. And so you just kind of have to say, hey, look, it's coming, be prepared for it, and go. I mean, we can't change what we're doing in practice. We just got to make sure that when things go good or bad on Friday, we got to make sure that we either keep it going or we get it fixed really quick.
Yeah, we talk about the maturation of the level of your guys, especially as it pertains to the senior class, because it's everybody looking to them for that kind of leadership in this kind of a game.
Yeah, I think so, and they're looking at the others like, come on, let's go. We want to keep playing. When I played as a senior here at Southport, we only won a couple of games in the regular season, but we won the first round game against a top 10 team, and that was really big for us. I mean, I was just happy as could be that I got to keep playing as a senior, and so I think that the older guys are going to provide a leadership, but they're going to need everybody else to get on board.
Let's talk a little bit about this Titan team from Tech High School. Brand new coach this year, and Will Patterson went to Lawrence North, comes from a solid football background, and he seems to be the right man for a turnaround that they've experienced this year.
Yeah, without being around the program every day, kind of judging from afar, which I try not to do, but I will say if you asked me to do that, I'd have positive things to say. They've got good numbers. I think that what they're doing on offense and defense is sound. It makes sense. I think they're putting some guys in good spots based on what their strengths and weaknesses are. I know Coach Patterson coached with some people I've worked with, and had good things to say. So it looks like they're heading in the right direction, and I think that's great for football here in Indianapolis to have those teams that. I mean, you think of football generations ago, Tech and Manual and those teams were kind of leading the city, and so I'm glad it looks like they've got things going in the right direction over there.
Finally, let's see if we can point out just a couple of things that will be key to this game.
Well, I think the big thing is, we're going to have to make sure defensively that we get them before they get started. They move the ball on just about everybody. They seem to have a little bit of trouble finishing, whether it be turnovers, penalties, space getting tight in the red zone. But they certainly can move the ball. So we're going to have to make sure that we don't give them anything easy, make them work for it, and hope that they're not able to finish. Offensively, I think for us, we were probably a little too run heavy earlier in the year, because that's easy to do when it's going well because it's safe. I think we got a little bit pass heavy really just because of some injury situations. Now we've got to kind of start to balance it up a little bit, just to make it tougher on the defense, but also spread the ball around. We've got several guys that can make plays, and I think we need to take advantage of spreading it around a little bit.
So finally, it's just all about win and advance.
Yep, we're going to try to play another game next week.
All right, Coach. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.